A chilly start to the day and the outlook turns milder, wetter and windier. Al Hall with details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Monday,
the weather affecting the inauguration because it's going to be held indoors because of...
Me and Jack have been chatting about all of the stats and previous presidents who've been out in terrible weather and they've died a short time later, so we won't go into that.
I think one. When you died after the inauguration...
because being outside, addressing everybody for hours and then get... short time later.
Do you know their name?
I do. I'll get back to you. The thing is, I was told not to mention it, and now I've just mentioned it.
OK.
And the inauguration actually used to be held in March, and it was Washington that had an inauguration that was planned, that was delayed for several weeks because they had such stormy weather. And it was because it took such a long time to confirm, to stay at home, to wrap up warm, because it is going to be so bitingly cold. But there will still be, despite the fact that they've brought the inauguration inside, there will still be tens of thousands of law enforcement people, first responders out on the front lines, so making sure that they stay as safe as possible. Temperatures will be -3 to 4 degrees this afternoon for the inauguration when it happens, but the wind chill will make it feel like -10 to 15 degrees. And it's because we have this Arctic blast of air plunging right across the country. Now, the coldest inauguration, we're talking about this, was Ronald Reagan in 1985, and amazingly, Ronald Reagan also had the warmest inauguration in 1981 when it was +14 degrees. And the interesting thing is this bitterly cold air that's spreading right across the states, bringing snow even down as far as Texas, will bring us some very stormy weather later on this week. But we start with pretty benign conditions. There's a bit of cloud around, some patchy rain. First thing this morning, it is fairly chilly, but not really that inspiring. Here's how it looks first thing. We have patchy rain across the northern areas of England, North Wales, some across the southwest of England. Temperatures hovering just a few degrees either side of freezing for many of us. The best of the brightness for Scotland. Good morning to you. The weather is set to turn very unsettled later on this week because of what is happening on the other side of the Atlantic. A big cold blast of air gripping North America. That's where the inauguration today for Donald Trump is set to move inside because of temperatures there 10 to 15 degrees below where they should be for the time of year. Now, this cold air meets the jet stream, and that will strengthen it. The jet stream picks up to 250 miles an hour as we head through this week, and then that will reenact with this area of low pressure, and we'll have what's called explosive cyclogenesis, when a low pressure rapidly deepens more than 24 millibars in 24 hours, and it will turn wet and windy by the end of the week. So a relatively calm start to the week. There's a fair bit of cloud around, chilly first thing, but not as cold as it was over the weekend. This is how it looks on the latest satellite and radar. Fairly cloudy for central areas, some outbreaks of rain, and there's not really many major changes for the next few days. The north of Scotland and Northern Ireland, the driest, brightest conditions and actually the mildest weather around today. Outbreaks of rain for northern England, North Wales and down towards the southwest. The far southeast, a chilly start to the day with some sunny spells, with highs of 6 or 7 degrees. We basically repeat that for tomorrow, but let's see what happens for the rest of the week on our 7-day outlook. So we look across the north of the UK first of all, Scotland, Northern Ireland, northern areas of England, and our temperatures compared to where they should be for the time of year. The white line average and sitting around about average for the majority of the week. Percentage chance of rainfall, largely dry for today and tomorrow, but it is midweek onwards, it turns increasingly wet and windy. Fortunes further south for England and Wales as we head through the next 7 days. Again, looking at the temperatures compared to where they should be for the time of year. And we sit, again, around about, maybe a little below for the majority of the week. But percentage chance of rainfall, relatively low again today and tomorrow. Just some patchy rain across the far north of England. But with that strengthening jet stream and the low pressures moving in, it's midweek onwards. And lasting into the weekend, we see wet and windy weather. Welcome back to Good Morning Britain. The weather across the other side of the Atlantic is very cold. Arctic blast spreading across their shores as we head through the next few days, and that will strengthen our jet stream. And later on for us this week, it means it's set to turn very wet and windy. But for today, it is relatively calm. There's a fair bit of cloud around and a chilly start this morning, but not as cold as it was over the weekend. This is the rather uninspiring scene greeting us on our latest satellite and radar. Patchy cloud for many, rain for northern England and North Wales. And it stays there today and tomorrow. Either side of it, sunny spells across the northwest of Scotland, largely dry, a little bit breezy. In the far southeast, after a cloudy, misty, murky start, brightening a little, staying pretty grey in the west, and a cool 4 or 5 degrees our top temperature. This evening and overnight tonight, you can see this band of cloud and rain across North Wales and northern England stays there all night long, damp and drizzly with some mist and hill fog. To the north, it is mild, breezy and cloudy. In the south, it is chilly with a touch of frost by tomorrow. Good morning to you. Now, weather is set to change pretty dramatically as we head through the week, turning stormy, and it is down to what's happening in America at the moment. You've heard about this cold blast gripping the northeastern parts of the states, where the inauguration is set to happen inside in Washington today because it is so bitingly cold. This cold air hits the jet stream, the divide between the cold